Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some more Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. Let's talk about big old tight end Darnell Washington, 29-yard catch, but what he did as a blocker in this game was also really impressive in the team's Week 8 win over the New York Giants. Let's talk about it. Before we start, if you guys could like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, check out the site SteelersDepot.com. Would really appreciate that. So let's go through a bunch of clips of Darnell Washington throughout this game, and we're going to start with the 29-yard catch, the longest reception he's had in his NFL career to date, his longest catch since his senior season at Georgia. Boot action here, a core concept play Pittsburgh's run a million times. I'll probably do a video on this a little bit later, maybe during the bye week over the weekend or so, but Washington on this corner route, nice read and good ball here from Russell Wilson. Ball is it's a low-high read. Supposed to go in the flat. It's not there. Giants take it away. Van Jefferson here in the flat. The corner squats. And so Washington gets found on the corner route. Breaks a tackle. Nearly stays in bounds, but a 29-yard reception. Take a look at it from the end zone view. Just watch the release here from Washington. He's a linear guy. He's a straight line guy. He's not going to really have a lot of suddenness in his route, but watch him swim the DB right about here. Swim over the top right there to get some separation. Gets a step. DB falls down. Washington makes a nice hand catch and gets some good yak. So to run this thing the whole way through, watch this swim move on that release, working the hands well to gain a step, kind of push him as you're releasing and swimming over the top, and nearly stays in bounds. Nice job of showing some power to stiff arm, which he's shown in space this year, and agility to kind of stay in bounds and get a couple more yards, and just tried to toe the line there. Couldn't keep his balance, but that's okay. Really nice rep here. Good play by Wilson and even Connor Hayward for picking up that block, but a nice catch here. Nice play from Darnell Washington. That was his lone reception and target of the day, so the rest of this video will be dedicated to his run blocking, but hopefully you guys love it as much as I do. Big run here by Najee Harris, left side early in this game. Washington on the down block. He's really getting three people here, just sealing this one down as Washington's going to help out more on the end, and then take two on the two linebackers, and that clears the path there for Najee Harris for a big run down inside Giants territory in a goal-to-go situation. So get that initial down block to help Dan Moore, and then we're climbing to the second level. We're taking a linebacker, and he ends up taking two. So the initial down block, this is kind of a wind back play with the fullback of Connor Hayward. Line goes to the right. Hayward's going left. Harris can pick a spot and find where the defense, is not going. But seeing the down block here from Washington, and then supposed to work second level and takes both of these guys. Primarily looks like it'll be Brian Burns here, but also gets a hand on 58, and that's just enough to prevent him from making the tackle on Harris, and he gets a big run out of it. So we'll take a look at it from the other end zone view, and here is Darnell Washington as they do a little pre-snap motion. We're going to see the down block initially, him climb, and just a good job when you're 6'7", and as his tight ends coach said, 300-plus pounds, you have some size and some length to get hands on people. So the initial down block there, and then working towards both 0 and 58, really only responsible for one, but ends up getting hand on both right there, and that's just enough to clear the path for Najee as Connor Hayward leads through as well. And 58, had he been able to work fully clean, might have made this tackle, but instead he's a step behind. Najee outruns him, and it's a big gain. So great job there from Washington. It's true that Darnell Washington has been more involved as a receiver this year, already has more targets, more receptions, more yards, and more touchdowns than he did his rookie season. He's been used, though, more as a pass protector, as a pass blocker, and this dates back to training camp where they were really repping on this stuff routinely, individual periods, even on the side, and of course during some of the team sessions. So, he's blocking about 40% of the time in terms of pass plays, and you see one here. Here he's lined up as the tight end next to Dan Moore, working on a defensive end on this over front here, and it's a great snatch and trap to knock down those hands of number 96. That's former Steeler, by the way, Armand Watts. He's a big dude, played nose tackle in Pittsburgh some last year, played some end as well, and just getting him off balance, and he gets some help from Connor Hayward. And fortunately, Najee Harris drops his pass, took his eyes off the football, but a good rep here from Darnell Washington will go back and take the look at the other end zone view. And this is just like true offensive tackle technique stuff, but just knocking down the hands, getting that guy off balance right there, that two-hand swipe down on probably the wrists or the elbow, wherever the aiming point is there, get that guy off balance and win that rep. And that just, a tight end doing tackle type stuff. You don't see many tight ends in this day and age use that technique. It's something that, remember, Alejandro Villanueva loved to use, and Broderick Jones has used in the past. And you're getting your tight end out there knocking down the hands of a guy that's, true defensive lineman and winning this rep. Nice job by Darnell Washington on the front side of this toss play. We're going to see him reach and cut off this defensive end with some help from number 81, Michael Pruitt. His return has been pretty important to this run game, but then showing that finish and nasty from Washington, putting that defensive lineman, number 93, into the ground. So just a good job securing the edge here on this toss right there. A little help from Pruitt, but then Washington getting his hips turned and just violent hands and good strike, hands inside to really take control of that block. And Harris has a little bit of room initially. Hole closes up, but certainly not anything that Washington did wrong here. So great job front side. Take a look at it from the other end zone view in just a second, but that violence, put that guy on the ground, and it's a good rep from Washington. Again, he's a little defensive end is shaded outside here initially. We've got to be able to reach him and get outside, and a little help from Pruitt to make sure they can do that. But Washington getting his hip set, that's critical. Really good hand placement, taking control of that block, and doing his job on the play. Nice combo block here from Washington. First level, help Dan Moore secure it, and then we're going to climb and stick at the second level to those linebackers. And so Washington left side, securing first level as Moore gets his hips around just in the way that Pruitt and Washington did on the last clip, and then getting to the second level, taking out this linebacker, sticking, driving your feet, running it the whole way through. Just a good job overall. So nothing too special or crazy, but it's just really good technique doing your job. First level secure, work to the second level, stick, drive. Not a big run here, but we're just focused on Washington doing his job. And the more that guys can do their jobs and carry out their own assignment, the more successful this run game will be. So nice rep there. Again, we'll take a look at it from the other end zone view, securing Burns on the first level, climbing to that linebacker 41, and just manhandling him. He spins off late, but if this run hits the way it's supposed to, that linebacker's not going to have a chance to make the play. So again, quality tape from Darnell Washington. I'm just taking these plays chronologically, and so we're going to see another example of what we saw earlier. Same matchup, Washington on Armand Watts, the old snatch and trap. Got him again, got him twice, knocking down those hands, and even more violent. And this was a run play, not a pass protection situation like the last clip, but the same technique utilized, and you really see the effects of it there from Washington knocking down those hands. It's a good run for Najee Harris out of this two-back run behind Connor Hayward. So that can be a really good mix-up and change-up to how you run block and take down one of those guys that, although Washington is certainly a mammoth tight end, Watts, you see the size a little bit bigger still. So instead of trying to base block this guy that has a bit of size on you and is a true defensive lineman, let's kind of mix up the technique, win early, knock down the hands, knock them off balance, and really help open up that hole for Najee Harris. Take a look at it from the other end zone view. Again, same thing, head up here, trying to figure out how to block this guy, and just good job here off the line and knocking down those hands. You see Watts fall forward, loses balance, lose vision on the football. Not a place that defensive lineman certainly wants to be, and that's just a really good rep here from Washington. I also want to say, and it's hard to really quantify, but his snap timing has been better. I thought last year he was slow out of his stance, just a little bit tick slow, and that can mean so much in the NFL, especially whenever he was a 12 personnel, 2 tight end set. He'd be the furthest, most outside tight end, and he would be extra slow trying to react to everything. I think his snap timing this year has just been a lot better. He's quicker off the ball. He's firing like an offensive lineman. He's not a bit delayed, and that's really instrumental in making these kinds of plays. So this is a really, really good rep. Going back to pass protection and Pittsburgh's play action, which has been really effective and super successful under Russell Wilson, who was 6 of 11 off of play action against the Giants, and no play bigger than this 43-yard completion from Wilson to George Pickens, which is a dime. So kudos to Wilson and Pickens for the connection here. But look at the pocket that's created. Again, play action helps sell that, but this turns into like a 7-on-7 drill because of the space the O-line gives, and that's Darnell Washington to bring it back to him on the right side in pass protection 1v1. So you keep your tight end in. Like I said earlier, he's blocking and he's staying in pass pro at a much higher rate this year and blocking some true pass rushers off the edge and doing that solo one-on-one on this play. And it's just a good rep overall. It's good technique. Again, tried to use that snatch and trap, a little less effective here, but recovering and not getting beat just because the punch didn't really work the way that he hoped that it would here initially. So kind of look at it, try and knock down the hands. Misses a bit here, but he's just so big and so strong. He's able to refit his hands immediately and transition to just being able to get his hands inside and be able to kind of knock him back. And this guy's so wide, so far off screen that, I mean, he never gets even close to Russell Wilson. He is, the length of the hashes, the width of the hashes away from him. Really good pocket overall and lets Wilson uncork this one. And yeah, you can't throw a better ball than that. Nothing fancy here, but it sure is effective. And again, Washington on some of these true defensive linemen, you face some of these 4-3 teams, you're going to face some bigger people than the 3-4 outside linebacker that you would in an Alex Highsmith or TJ Watt, who are big guys, but not compared to true defensive linemen. And again, we're seeing this over front, Giants shifting over to the strong side, to the 3 tight end side here, and we're just getting Washington just stick and drive and base block this to the end, a little extra afterwards. And so you love that from those guys fired up there, finishing this game out and trying to close out a victory over the Giants. So just good technique, quick off the ball, good hand placement, stick, run your feet, don't get top heavy if you stop your feet and start to fall forward and lunge, and then you lose all your power. Your power is derived, ground up. And so just a good job here, keeping his feet here, moving laterally, staying engaged, good grip strength, and then finishing this play out. And those guys going at it after the play as the refs. Hate to be that ref trying to break up a couple of 300-pounders from scrapping there on the ground. Take a look at it from the aerial view just to get a good look at kind of the stuff afterwards. But again, Washington sticking, driving. It's a decent run. Pile moves forward overall, but these guys, and it's just them going after it. And you kind of love that. You love the throwback mentality this team has about being physical, about kicking butt, and just willing to scrap it up. And you see that here from Washington at the end of the game. And after a job well done, the blue-collar performance from Darnell Washington, you get to be out there for the victory snap, the victory kneel down, and Washington not going to get called for a false start on a kneel down. I promise you that. We'll see from this angle. No movement off the snap. He does this all the time. I wonder if there's a backstory behind it, but he's just in place overall. He's not going to move, and just do it. Just make sure there's no penalty. Get out there with a victory. It's not as quirky as the old Zach Banner blocking he would do on the kneel downs, but a fun little moment there for Washington. So great performance by him. Really happy with his progression. Obviously getting more involved as a receiver is nice to see, but his job is to be a blocker first and foremost, and he was taking it to the Giants as Pittsburgh rolled on the ground in this game. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.